FIFA, right? The Football Association, right? They paid men from a pool of 4 billion, about 4 billion that they make from like men's football, right? Men's World Cup and stuff. But then they pay women from the 300 million that they make from the women's football. Do you see? So the difference between what men make and what women make is significantly big, right? But women are paid 20% from what they make. Meanwhile, men are paid under 10%. Last time I checked, I think they said 7%.
I think it's unfair for men. Because while they start also they get 20% of which that they make. So
they get more from the women are making more from the money they made, but men are making less from the money they made. But at the same time, even with that being said, women still end up with less compared to men.
If they say they want more, where must the other money?
If they say, maybe that's a good question for women. If they want more money, in this instance, where the other money must come from. So America ended up doing this. FIFA will give the country money to pay like for their male footballers and money for their female footballers. So America took the money from the men and they distributed it equally between women and men who play soccer in their country. Do you think it's fair? No. Why are you saying it's not fair? It's unfair to who? Unfair to who? It's unfair to male. Why it's unfair to male? Okay, you think so? You think women should have been paid less in this case, right? Okay. So this is my argument, ne?
Yes.
You guys can disagree with me. You can disagree with me and say whatever you want to say.
Yes.
So my question was, do you guys think women should be paid more money than men, right? And I make a point in question here, which is soccer. I'm saying, for an example, women are currently complaining that they are paid less than men, right? Example here is soccer. And I'm saying to you, one of the reasons that women are paid less, I'm saying women are paid more, but then they end up with less than men in terms of how they are paid. And I'm saying in FIFA, right, the Football Association, right, they paid men from a pool of 4 billion, about 4 billion that they make from like men's football, right, men's World Cup and stuff. But then they pay women from the 300 million that they make from the women's football. Do you see? So the difference between what men make and what women make is significantly big, right? But women are paid 20% from what they make. Meanwhile, men are paid under 10%. Last time I checked, I think they said 7% of what they make. So what you take in that? Do you think it's fair that women end up with less money than men? And why? Please justify your answer. Yes, Nako. Starting with you, Swazi.
But I think on my side, it is fair. Because it is what they're producing it. So, and I think it's unfair for men. Because while they start also they get 20%. Of which that they made. So, yes.
They get more from the women are making more from the money they made, but men are making less from the money they made. But at the same time, even with that being said, women still end up with less compared to men. So what do you have to?
If they're saying they're getting this, where do you think the other money must come from?
That's a good question. Yes, sis, what do you think?
It is fair.
You think it's fair?
Yeah, so it is fair.
Okay. So far, logically. So, I'm going to move to modeling. Oh, yes, you want to say something, Snago?
But I want to leave out a question. If they say they want more, where must the other money come from?
If they say, maybe that's a good question for women. If they want more money, in this instance, where the other money must come from? Yeah, but what ended up, so one of the things that's happened, I forgot which country was it. There's a country, I think it's America, because, well, wokeness comes from America for the most part. I'm sorry if I'm wrong for saying America. I think it's America, though. So America ended up doing this. FIFA will give the country money to pay, like, for their, male footballers and money for their female footballers. So America took the money from the men and they distributed it equally between women and men who play soccer in their country. Do you think it's fair? No. Why are you saying it's not fair? It's unfair to who? Unfair to who? It's unfair to male. Why it's unfair to male?
Because they are good in football, and then I'm a female. They don't even attract more people. So why should they be paid equally?
Okay, you think so? You think women should have been paid less in this case,
Yes.
right? Okay. Because they don't make as much as men in this case. Now, this is what I always find interesting about this conversation. Women don't talk about modeling. So, female modelers make more money than male modelers for obvious reasons. Female, so this is the thing, it's much more of what your population is into for the most part. We all know that women are much more likely people rather to be involved in anything around modeling and beauty and what's not, right? So women are much more likely to buy beauty products compared to men. This is like almost like a general knowledge. I mean, you guys probably have more beauty products than me. I don't know. I have a Vaseline. That's as far as I go as beauty is concerned. So how many things do you use as products for beauty? From hair products to my only products of beauty is Vaseline.
Just start with the face.
The face, Emilia, do you see? So then female modelers make more money than male modelers.
Yes.
Do you guys think it's fair?
Yeah.
Why? Why is it fair?
Because the thing isn't a male.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm a male I think isn't a man. So why if Bona isn't abazilangai? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Abazi advertisers in man, and then as a mom, as a female singing, why should they be paid the same amount?
So it's easily put, Sissy, to help you. It comes down to revenue. Women modelers sell more than male modelers because women are much more likely to buy more clothes than men anyway, right? Women are much more likely to buy products than men anyway, right? So then do we say then it makes sense then that women are paid more in that industry. But women don't want to talk about that. All the time when we talk about equal pay, we only from the perspective where they are paid less.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And now I'm going
The
to...
truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's going to get a little bit tougher. Okay? This conversation is going to get a little bit tricky. Okay, now... In England, one of the debates that was had was how and why. Actually, no, this doesn't only apply in England, but it applies almost everywhere in the world. But in this case, it was English media and them that was questioning this and putting males into, a lot of questions, about their space in terms of business. Now, women who run big corporations significantly like have low numbers. In other words, like significantly women are not found in corporations as men. So most business people are male. Like I'm not just talking about small businesses, I'm talking about huge like corporate. So for an example, if in the case of South Africa, Vodacom, MTN, even stores like McDonald's, whatever you would talk about, right? Yes. But when we talk about big corporation, we find a significant number of men compared to women. Yes. The ratio is so bad; it's almost like 10-1. Yeah. That's how bad the ratio is in England. So in England, the question, that was being had at the time, the argument rather was they were complaining that the business space, is unfair to women for a number of reasons. Okay, the business space is unfair to women. Why is it so many corporations have males, right, and are owned by males, and it's just men over women? What do you guys think? Yes.
On my side, I think women, I need to, for a person to be a good entrepreneur, you must take risks. And I don't think women are good at taking risks.
You don't think women are good at taking risks?
Yes, or they have that capability of taking risks so that they can become in business women, achieving something like that. Yes.
You don't think women are good at taking risk?
Yes.
I beg to differ. I think they do take risk. I think so. I think they do. It's just maybe something somewhere. I don't know. It's
Or
a couple of things.
Skills, something like that.
I don't know. What do you think? You just think that women are not good at taking risk?
Yes.
You think you are not good at taking risk. What about you? Because you are a woman too, and you are representing women right now. Can't just throw my ladies under the bus like that. Why you say women are not good at taking risk? I think women are.
Or they don't have any business ideas. Good.
Okay.
Or they don't know how to think outside the box, if I must say like that.
If ganja maths for email female banana skills afana when it comes to business. There's about ukuthi banganama ideas bakwazi ukuthatha ama risk because banama skills afana bayazi ukuthi into abangayi prepare for the business ukuze ukwazi ukudevelop.
Well, mawusuthi angithi like lana sibheka isn't like not individuals like female individuals like sesibuka ke like females wonke ukuthi banganani abantu abanalo ma skills.
Oh, okay. Compared to men, you think men in the bigger population have more skills and are more willing to take risk than?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think, sis Tando? Okay, so what do you think? Why is that? Why is it we have so many men compared to women in the business space, in the industry? Yeah, big corporations are owned by male. Any big corporation are led by men. They're owned by men. They're started by men for the most part. Why is that?
Okay, started by men.
Okay, there's history involved. True.
Back then, like abomkhulu babeshela ingane zabo zabafana ukuthi baqhubeke business yabo lokho sengaba ukuthi kwakhoza ukuthi usuke wona lidayo.
Okay, so we can say history is involved, right?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest things though that women were complaining about, and which has been found to be the reason for this, especially in England, was corporate jobs like that are just lifestyle-wise, they're not catering towards women. So for an example, we've already, we all know that women are much more likely to want to take care of their kids compared to men.
Yes.
Right? Women are much more psychologically much more of caregivers and stuff like that. So women are much more likely to sacrifice things for their families compared to men. So these jobs are those jobs where you find maybe ubaba kabuye ekhaya ingane zamzonda you know those type of things. Rich families are always like that, especially rich kids. They hate their dad because their dad is not there, right? That's because their dad is a owner or is involved in this type of business, big business corporation. So what I mean by this is, so what they found was to be like a CEO of these big corporations or companies, right? It can take you sometimes 100 hours to work a week. Some people, Elon Musk, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Elon Musk, before Tesla became Tesla, he had times where he slept in the office, under the desk, under the chairs. And for the most part, these are the things that are not women like in terms of lifestyle. Men are much more likely to do things like that, sleep in the office, sleep in the car, and then compared to women.
Yes.
So then so the space is so competitive at the top that it's not catering to women's lifestyle. So we all know women get pregnant, men don't.
Yes.
Right? So already you have biologically a woman is already losing in that sense. Women have periods, men don't. So biologically in a sense things are not catering towards women's lifestyle, right? Women are much more social than men, and women are into people and men are into things. So in other words, women are much more likely to be a nurse compared to men. Women are much more likely to be psychologists compared to men. Men are much more likely to be engineers compared to women, because biologically and socially, men are into things and women are into people. So women are much more social. Yes. So for an example, women are much more likely to have more friends than men. Not to say that's always the case, but much more likely to have more friends than men. So what do you think of that perspective, Sissy? And then this is used as part of the biggest reason as to this is why it's happening. There's so many reasons. It's just that's one of the things that is being made. People make it to be about patriarchy only, right? That the world is patriarchal, which is partly true, but not fully the truth. The truth is bigger than that, such as the things that I just mentioned to you guys right now. But then women, if you say that to women, especially in these debates in Western world, when you say something like that, they're saying then the industry needs to change and cater to women. So maybe the industry shouldn't force people to have to work this hard to be part of it. You shouldn't have to work hundreds hours a week, to be part of it. Yes, Sissy, what do you think? You are not competitive because the business space in the top is too competitive. So what happens is that if you are an owner of Vodacom, for example, or a CEO of Vodacom, you are in a big competition with all the other networks. One mistake, your company is gone. So that's why people end up spending so many hours. If you are Elon Musk, that's why you end up sleeping in the office under the desk and stuff like that. So that's why you end up doing that, right? So in other words, the competition is so bad. Imagine it's like a school. Imagine a school and someone says the highest person to get the highest scores, basically a person to get the highest score in this exam gets $10,000, right? Yes. And then someone complains and says, but I'm a girl at home, I have to cook and wash dishes. Do you see? That's what happens. So that's the difference. So that's the argument they are making here. Yeah, what do you guys think of this argument they're making? Yes, Tando. Which part? What do you think? So women are saying the industry is not good for them. The industry should change and accommodate them, fit their lifestyle. You're saying no. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think should happen? So are you saying that men should continue to be running these big corporations and then having more money than women? Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because most of the was as if it's coin, so one woman is forced if it's not coin. As because also produce and my meals. But about was women
and also let's take a look at nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Nursing
more women than male, yeah.
So our males, they must say, oh, nothing's sense because this and this now we do not fit.
Yeah, true.
If we lazy, yeah. That's the thing.
Okay. I don't want to leave it like that. I don't want to make it like that because people are going to say, we hate women and I'm making you guys to be like this. Okay, what can we, let's talk about so then given the problem that I just proposed to you guys, what do you think we can do to help women to be part of the thingy, to be part of the big corporation as it's being made, because the gap is too big. We don't have enough women in power in terms of corporations. Let's talk about what can we do then to help women to be there, rather than to say women cannot compete. Okay, partly true to say that, because the lifestyle of women. Guys, by the way, we're not talking about just an individual, because there are women who are competing, right? It's just that in the vast majority, women in this type of space, it's such as like engineers, for an example. Yes. It's not like it's because corporates are choosing males to be engineers. It's simple, actually. For the most part, it's because most likely men are into things. Men are much more like, guys, they're simple things. Men are much more likely. Did you know this? I don't know if you know this. Women are much more likely to think about killing themselves.
Yes.
But men are much more likely to actually kill themselves.
Yeah.
Do you see? So there's so many other psychological factors that are making the difference between the two, right? So again, men are much more likely to be engineers compared to women because men are into things and women are much more likely to do jobs that have to do with care and people servicing because women are into people compared to men.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but then the question that I want to ask, what can we do to help women to be in the same space as men when it comes to business then? What do you think, guys? Well, now we have the problem. This is the problem. I told you what is the problem. The space in the corporate space is too competitive. Like in terms of time, it doesn't accommodate women's social structures for the most part. There are women who can fit in, but generally, I would argue that 10 to 1 is actually reasonable because women are much more likely not to want to do things like this. One of the arguments as to why generally, yes.
All put on my perspective, angithi mawufika endaweni like in a place you must adapt to new change in your life nje as a whole. Even in science, in life sciences, sorry to make this example, we've got this thing of Iloga Charles Darwin talks about natural selection. It even says those with favorite characteristics they will survive.
In that space, true.
Yes, in the space. So
you are saying this is the same thing. Men are surviving because they have the characteristics that fits the business, whereas women are surviving in a different area than men.
Yes, but if individuals who are able to survive, then they will survive.
That's true. And then because we have the small individual or small population of women who are surviving in business, it's just that they are not as many as men.
Yes.
This is good. That's a good argument. Good argument. What do you have to say, Sissy? Yeah, I agree with Sis.
Let's use Charles Darwin's theory.
Yeah, Charles Darwin's theory make it easier.
Yes.
Okay. A good one, ladies. Any other thing you want to say before I move on to other things? One of the biggest reasons, so generally, the argument has been made that in population, for the most part, men always seem to have somehow more money than women generally, right?
Yes.
And then women are complaining about this, right? As to why is this the case? And then how do we help such a situation? Why men have more money than women? What do you guys think is the reason? We are now not just talking about big corporations, just in general. Yeah, we all know, for an example, we end up having a situation that man must do this, a man, when we go to a date, he must pay, and this. This is an old thing that's male always, they want to do that. But then why in general? This is a question that women are basically fighting about, feminists mostly, fighting off like why men have more money than women in society. What do you guys think? In your own experience in life, what do you think is that? Or maybe you have a difference. You can say, no, you don't think men have more money. Do you think men have more money than women in most cases?
Yes.
Yeah, why is that then?
Because women, I feel like women, they depend mostly on men. And I would say they've got this thing of wanting to be a housewife. Some of them, they'll be like, oh, when I grow up, I'll marry a rich man and just sit at home and be a rich a housewife. And then they get pregnant at any age and then drop out of school. And then want to then expect to go to
Okay.
Yes, that's the thing.
What do you think, Tando? Why do you think men have more money than women? You said you agree that men have more money than women generally. So why is that?
And also, I think men have many business ideas more than women. Men are able to multitask as Katina and also they are able to think outside the box. But it's just let's say we are sebenza as nurse, and that it's like okay, maybe I should start a business or something like that so that I can have more money in the ganja. But then obviously Yes. Yes. Just
In all the billionaires in the world, women who are billionaires, more than 90% of them, more than 90% of them made $1 billion because of inheritance or divorce.
yeah.
But so like out of 10 women, probably 1 or 0 point something actually made their $1 billion themselves.
Yes.
Most of them, they get the $1 billion from divorce. They don't make the $1 billion.
Yes.
Usually their husbands are the one who make the billions. So they're the ones who pioneered the ideas and stuff like that. So I have a question again. Why is that though? Why do you think is that? The reason I'm asking for the why is that mostly is because in my experience, in all my classes, this one thing that always happens, right? When I was a student like you guys, high school or university, wherever, you guys will agree or disagree. For an example, in top 20, there are no more women. Women are more smarter than men in just general when it comes to that. But the problem is, we have a top 20. In the top 20, you're going to get 15 women and 5 boys.
Yes.
But the 5 boys who are there are smarter than all of the women. And that was always my experience. So, for an example, you find that in top 20, for an example, or top 10, whatever you have, the boy is going to win maths and physics, and the girls will win all the other things.
Yes.
So all the time you'll find that there are 15 women and only 5 boys.
Yes.
So in general population, women are much more capable, right? In the general population in this instance, with that example, because in top 20 you have 15 women. It's just that the problem, the 5 boys tend to be way too stronger.
Women, they are more into theory. They're more in theory, but this person they are good at it. But then it comes to science and stuff like that. Nah.
Okay, that's your experience. What's your experiences? What do you have to say to that? I was always confused because we had a top 10, for example, in high school, where all the 10 people were female only in the top 10. Girls only in the top 10. No men were found there. And then, when you have men, you have 2 men, 8 girls. But all the time, when you have men, the man is always that one who's smarter than all the 8 women. For some reason, I don't know why is that. But I've noted in my own experience throughout the years, even when I got to university, right? Mostly, we like in top 3s and stuff, like, women are the strongest people. Actually, even in my life as a student, people that I competed the most with were women. I've never had to compete with a guy except for one man, actually. May soul his rest in peace, actually. Is I don't want to talk about him, but it's a white guy that I was like with back. That's the only guy. Travis was his name, by the way. That's I was close to. That's I ever had to compete with. But mostly my competition was always women.
I think it's because males are mostly the ones who get carried away by habits.
Speak louder, Sissy. You think?
I think males are the ones that get carried away by habits.
Males are much more likely to be carried away by habits, okay? Bad habits. Yeah, true. When you say bad habits in this case, such as drugs, right? True, that's true. Men are much more likely to do drugs compared to women. That's true. What do you think?
Top 10, for an example, I think it's because most of my subjects are based on theory. Then I feel our thing like I'm a critical thinking and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I think they ace more.
That's like social in a way. You can put them in an environment analysis type of thing. So in your school, who's the best in mathematics?
It's the girl.
The girl.
Yes.
Okay. In your school, who was the best in mathematics? Boy. Okay. So, but then you're saying for the most part, boys generally are better than women in mathematics. Then are you saying that?
Yes. but
True,
ngoba
true, okay.
uthatha ukubheka kule ntombazana mhlawumbe mancane amantombazana ayazi imath, but nje for boys nje.
It's the thing that's boys usually they get mathematics. That's interesting.
And then come to theorize.
Yeah,
Okay.
women. Yeah, girls usually are much more prominent when it comes to that.
Yes.
Okay. Any question you want to ask me, guys, before I close this?
Were the smartest people, or if I must say intelligent, boys or girls?
Intelligent.
Yes.
Who are the smartest people? I think if we're looking at this is my opinion, by the way. If we look at the bigger population, I think girls, in my experience at school, I think girls are much more smarter, right? In the like, let's say, as I made an example, you're much more likely to find girls more than men in the top 10, right? My whole school life, this was the case, right? And this is why I'm saying that. But the problem is that the men who are smarter are just too good. So as I said, so you find like that there are 15, let's say it's a top 20, there are 15 girls, right? And there are 5 boys. This translates in the industry as those boys end up being the one who own the big corporations, the 5 boys, which will then make in return corporation businesses and stuff be male more than women. Do you get it? So let's say, for example, in the top 20, we have 15 girls and 5 boys, right? And then fast forward, these top 20 is competing later on in life, right? In big corporate space. You're going to find the 4 boys in the corporate space and then the 1 girl who made it, right? If you remember the top 20 we had in high school, now the top 20 is translated to 4 boys in corporate space and 1 girl. Do you see? But see, in the school, it was the other way around. I think that's what happens, in my own opinion, for the most part. Women are much more smarter, in my opinion, in the bigger population or general. Well, and then it's just that when men are good, are just good. I don't think it's that, because the population, for the most part, there are more women, I think, than men, although not by much, but they are. But yeah, that's what happened. But I would argue too that you are much more likely to find that just when you interview people generally, you are much more likely to find that men will know better than women about stuff, especially if you're going to ask about things, not about people. So what do I mean when I'm saying about things? If you were just to go outside and say people must name 20 countries that they know, I think men are much more likely to get 20 countries than women.
Yes.
I think so. If you say, just go outside and ask 20 people, the first 20 people, I think men are going to name more countries than women.
Yes.
That I think. Yeah. But then at the same time, I think women tend to be more smarter than men. It's just that the men who are good end up being just too good for the women to keep up with. I mean, it's so hard because your argument you were making about coming up with stuff, Sissy, I think it's so unfair at the same time, because in the past, that's why if you look at books, most things are written by men and theories and ideas are by men, and if you look at it, these are old ideas. Women were not allowed the same space as men at the same time, right? Because women were not even allowed to be at school, not to vote, so it's kind of very tricky to judge them like that in a way. But at the same time, it's true. I mean, because only now women are catching up. So it's almost the same debate between white people and black people, because black people were not allowed in spaces for a long time compared to men. So it's very, compared to white men, or white people rather. So it's very tricky. Yes, Sissy, question. Any questions, Sissy? Anything, sis. You can ask anything.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys a question, both of you. Okay. Do you guys want to get married?
Yes, for
Yes, okay. Tando?
Not
Not really.
sure.
You are not sure if you want to get married or not, okay? No problem with that. I'm going to start with Swazi. Swazi, why do you want to get married?
Because I want to start my own family.
You want to start your own family and?
Yes. And I think it's going to be cute.
Okay. Starting your own family, good, yes?
Mina ngathi umshado uyacontrola like akwazi ukumove more. Njengokuthi like angeke ngikwazi ukutravelisha ngomsebenzi wami. Let's say ngifuna ukusebenza phesheya maybe America. Manje mangishadile ngizohamba kanjani?
You can take your husband and your kid.
Afuna ukuhamba yena, so that's why ngifuna.
But yeah, and I also think marriage also teaches you morals.
Oh,
Because,
I like that, okay. What do you mean?
because let me make an example. You'll find other people wearing is too short.
yeah.
And if you're married to number morals and you know how to behave yourself,
Mm.
you have a moon abantu nje.
Okay.
Yes.
You think marriage can inspire morals? Okay.
Yes.
What do you have to say to that, Tando?
Okay, I agree with my sis.
You just differ in the sense that, but on that, like there are women who do go with their partners overseas. I mean,
But sometimes kuyenzeka ukuthi partner athanda akafuni ukena uthanda ukuba lana kule ndawo le uthanda ukuba close to ifamily yakhe and stuff.
yeah, but you can still also have the other way around, whereby the partner wants to go.
Would you go?
Would you go? Do you see? So it can work anyhow. So in terms of problems can be anyhow, anyway. But true, because having a partner would mean not 100% of everything you want to do will be up to you, because they would also have influence. Maybe if you go with 50-50. So in other words, some of the decisions will be your decisions, but some of the decisions will be their decisions. So having a partner, whether male or female, doesn't matter really, because it will mean you will be influenced by another person. That's true. Having a partner, maybe that's a disadvantage to a certain extent, because there might be things you want to do that they're not going to agree with, which means you might have to compromise, and also they also might have to compromise too when they want to do a decision and you do not agree with the decision. So then it's a compromise in that sense. Okay? Yes, sis, what do you want to say to what Sando is saying? So now you get a big pharmaceutical company says, oh, you have pharmacy. We want to hire you to come here in America. You're going to be doing these products with us. We love you. And then your partner says, I don't want to go live in America. What do you have to do?
If we're having kids, I won't go. I won't go.
Okay, so what are you willing? Are you willing to compromise your decision to have a family?
Well, but if
This is not to say, by the way, Sissy, this is not to discourage you, and this is not to say this is what happens, but that can happen too. But it's not like it's a center of everything. That's all the time. There will be times where you really badly want to do something and your partner says no. And there will be times whereby your partner really wants to badly do something and you say no. So,
Well, if you say who can I company, yes, American company. If send already like send me then I won't go. If then I'm not singing and then I will go.
Okay, what do you have to say, Sissy? Okay, so this is how it seems like to me. The difference between you two, maybe it's because someone you shala Eshushu, or you shala Newcastle, or you are Selokshin. I'm gonna ask people to pick who to bow this was Selokshin. I think they're gonna pick them easily. Okay, because it seems like there's a clear difference. One of you guys is willing to sacrifice a career over family, and one of you seemingly to say career over family. Which one, Sissy? Your career or a family? Career. And what about you, Sissy?
Family, I can't leave my kids.
Family.
Yes.
Career and then family.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to have kids, Tando?
Yeah.
Or you want to have kids? Okay. So somehow, somewhere, somehow, you still want to have kids with the problems. Kids but no marriage, seems like. Okay. Any other question, guys, you want to ask me now? You guys can ask me any question. Cool. Cool. Okay, thank you. That's gonna be our segment today with Usis Mami about two, Usis Swami, Uswazi Snakho konke, noSisi Swami uthando lwethu, uGcinani, uAkimi, uYabadura.